apparently taxes not taken by corporates amount to 700 billion. And that was in the poor party on TV3 leaders the other day. That was on that, it came out in that there's a huge amount of tax evasion. And my question, which has been miraculously lost, which is just a travesty of justice.
Could you just tell us your question?
Yeah, just tell me your question. It was a 3-line question, but the nub of it was to act, because it was about equality. You're talking about equality all the time. It should be equality it should be equality on wealth, because there's so much division.
Okay, no,
based on
you'll make
wealth.
the statement now. We need the question.
Yeah.
The question that I think you're asking is, what are you going to do about the people across our societies who don't pay their fair share of tax? Would that be a fair assumption?
My question was about David Stevens. David?
About the enormous amount of, there's more gang members in
Sorry,
than there are police.
There's
I'm not
white
gonna let
collar
this get out of
crime.
control. Sorry. Either you come up with a straight question or I'm going to
Well,
ask you.
they've lost my question.
Well,
and
I'm
nobody's
sorry
got a
about that.
response. But it was about the David
Why don't
Stevens.
you go and write your question down and bring it up to me?
Write it down. You've lost it.
Let's move to health, please,
No,
because I think when I...
you are not going to do this to me.
This could be good. This could be the lead story in the local news tomorrow morning.
Yeah, well, it should be. Because, yeah.
Why don't you go and write your question?
No, don't give me the microphone.
Well, hang on, Ray is going to try and answer
It
your
was,
question.
it was,
It's simply this. You're worried
how
about
do you
tax
know the
evasion.
question?
Simply because you asked it. You said all the tax evasion people aren't paying tax. What does a transaction tax mean?
No, just, you let me ask you the question.
Okay,
It's like
fire away.
Marama said.
Fire away. Fire away.
Sammy, are we getting this live? Good.
Because David Seymour said that he was going to cut down on benefit fraud.
Yep.
Meanwhile, and he said it was a moral, a moral and
Yep.
ethical stand to stand up against benefit fraud. But the amount of money lost in tax evasion by corporates and by big companies and even small companies, not like little people like me who can't afford an accountant, but the corporate taxes are not being paid, and that, what are you going to do about tax
Thank
evasion?
you for the question. It's a great question.
Didn't I sum that up
Do
reasonably well?
you understand a transactional tax? In other words, every bank, every financial institution gets 1% taken off them. So that's the fairest system on the planet because, well, ask yourself, if everyone pays 1% and that's on billions of dollars, then look at this. Who likes dealing with the I&D department? Okay, so we can remove just about all of that because even a child can work out what 1% is. And therefore, if you're only paying 1%, why would you try and evade it? There's no need to.
You're manipulating my question.
No, I'm not. You said a fair tax. You said a fair tax. So if we, at the moment, those people pay no tax. So if we take 1% off them, it means all us in the middle range are paying 28, don't need to pay 28. We only have to pay 1% too.
Thanks, Ray. Would anybody else like to make a comment? Does anybody want to make a comment? Yeah.
Actually, I agree. Tax evasion is much, much bigger than the benefit fraud. And we do need to make sure that big companies are not moving their funds offshore so they don't have to pay on the profits that they make off us here in New Zealand.
Yes.
I'd like to make the point that with a flatter tax system, you'll get far more productivity with companies because a lot of companies and indeed individuals will do anything that they can to evade tax through loopholes. So the flatter your tax system, the better. And also, I will make the point again that the only tax evasion I'm aware of in New Zealand at the moment that's a real problem that we would like to target is the massive gang problem that we have. There are more gang members than police. And we
No, we're
will
talking about
target...
tax, Joanna, you can get to gangs later. All right? We're talking about tax at the moment.
About tax evasion.
Sit down, Beryl.
Well, I feel I need to just stand to counter something that Joanna's just said. Labor has brought in new legislation to make things much tougher on gangs. You probably...
Hey, Beryl, no, we're not talking about gangs at the moment.
Well, we are.
The question was expressly about tax. So either,
Well, I think I can...
I can sit down,
I think I can reply.
and we will give you a chance to sum up at the end. All right? So please, right. I'm going to move on to health, because there are a number of questions here about the fact that our health system is under extreme pressure, and it's not just nationally, but it's also how it impacts on people living locally. What are the issues and the outcomes that the candidates want to achieve in terms of improving the health system across not only New Zealand, but also locally? Joanna?
Yeah, I mean, my research shows that, in particular, this community, you've had to self-fund an enormous amount of projects to make yourself feel safe and secure, such as the rescue helicopter base, which is one of the best in the country. Your new medical centre, which was funded by Mercury Bay Medical Centre and Hopper Construction, and also the Project Mammogram, you know, to get women seen much quicker for mammograms. ACT has a policy to bring in public-private partnerships, which I think would work really well in this region to actually bring some of this critical healthcare to your community. We will also increase GP funding by 13%, which is equivalent to 2.5 million GP visits. We will open up immigration to ensure that the doctor shortage is addressed. At the moment, we are a Harvard-trained doctor cannot practice here until he's been here for 18 months. That's ridiculous. So all those things I think will greatly help the health service, and we will also, again, look at people's health needs based on their need rather than ancestry.
Thank you. Beryl?
Well, Labor has upped wages for nurses, which hopefully is going to keep more of our nurses in the country. We're upping our numbers of nurses being trained. You will have read that as of next year, 50 more doctors will be trained next year, and then subsequently the years after, 95, until we're up to 365 doctors extra a year. Labor is paying special remuneration for doctors who will take up rural appointments, which is really an important thing. Numbers of, I know from my own profession, psychologists, there's more being trained. They've also brought in something called the HIP clinic, which I do at Thames Medical Centre. That's primary mental health care. Every GP practice in the country now has what's called a HIP clinic, where people can get access to mental health issues from little E's up to big E's.
Thank you, Beryl.